Okay, I have a confession to make. This is Lenny Lawson, the Car Guru, and writing a Car Guru guidebook has been hard. You know, all of this stuff just resides, up here in my cranium, and when I try to extract it, at that kind of a speed, it's hard. It's exhausting. I'm tired. But I think I'm going to hit the deadline. I did just take the pile of, the pages of the guidebook, printed form, took it into my daughter Audra's office, and I said, "Hey, hon, I need you to proofread this and see if you have any suggestions." And she said, "Okay, Dad, be glad to. When do you need it by?" And I said, "Wednesday." "What?" "Yeah, not next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday." She said, "I can't do that." "Why, how come?" "I got too much to do. I work here at a car dealership." "I work for you, you slave driver." She didn't say that. I think that's what she was thinking. But no, she can't proof it. So I said, "Just do this. Read one chapter and make your comments on that." And she said, "Okay, I'll do one chapter." So the rest of it's just going to be on me and on you and on my other daughter, Abby. She said she would try to do a couple chapters. But this has all come flowing out since middle of last week. And so what is the guidebook? Well, I've explained it before, but this is everything you need to, almost everything that you need to know about buying, selling, trading, servicing, body shop repairs, financing. I'm putting about 47 years of experience into a guidebook that you can use. You can print it out. You can put it in your car whenever you run into a circumstance, getting ready to go in and get service, getting ready to interact with a body shop, getting ready to go out and buy a new car. Read that chapter, and you will be inoculated in a good way from a bad car deal. There is a requirement on the part of the reader, though, when you take it to action, when you actually go to a dealership and you run into these things, you have to have courage. You have to stand up to the jickmeisters. These are people who are trained to handle you, not in the service department so much, but in the sales department, trained to handle you in such and such a way. These young salespeople, they try to go by the book, and they got these managers looking over their shoulders, and if they screw up, here comes the manager, his hair all slicked back and dark glasses and, striped shirt and plaid pants, and he comes up and says, "What's the problem, folks?" And starts trying to close the deal out there on the lot. "How come you won't let us quote you some payments?" That kind of stuff. And what I want to encourage you to do and to motivate you to do is to just not put up with it, because, it's going to end badly for you. There are plenty of dealerships that handle the process right. Still, they may throw a four-square negotiation thing at you. Try to get you focused on payment. They may try to get your credit app filled out real early in the process. And you just have to say, "No, not going to do that. Let's just talk about the car. You should tell me everything you know about the car. Let's go on a test drive. Let's choose the vehicle first, and then let's talk about the price on the vehicle. What about your trade-in? Don't worry about my trade-in. I may not even trade it. I want a price on the vehicle, and then we'll talk about the trade-in." "We don't do it that way." "Well, then I'm just going to go to the house." You have to be prepared to call it like it is. Follow the guideline. If you follow the guidebook, then you'll get a great deal. It's as simple as that. I can't make it more simple. It's simplicity in action. So this booklet will go out on Wednesday, tomorrow. And so you just got to send me your email address, and I'll email it to you. And if you don't want to do that, then I'll put it on the My Car Guru Facebook page, and you can download it. But if you don't use Facebook and you don't have a computer, you could send me your address, and I could print it out. It's going to cost me postage, but I guess you're worth it. Okay, I'll take my first break, and I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. So how do you order the guidebook? Send me a text message to 423-552-2020. All you have to do is write the word guidebook and your email address, and you'll get it. I'll send it to you. I don't know if I can text it or not. I don't think you'd want to read it on a phone. Really don't. There's a lot of verbiage there. So, or you can send me an email to Lenny Lawson, Lennie, Lawson, Lawson, 2020 at gmail.com. That's Lenny Lawson 2020 at gmail.com. And then I'll just return or respond to the email, or reply. That's right. Reply to the email with the guidebook attached, and then you'll have it. So that's how that's going to work. Now, if you get the guidebook in the mail, which you can send me your address, and I'll mail it to you, but, don't expect a leather-bound book, with all kinds of fancy artwork on it. It'll probably have My Car Guru logo on it with a cartoon version of me in a Hawaiian shirt. People see that logo on the podcast, and they say, what's with the shirt? And I don't know, I was on a cruise with my wife. We were somewhere in the Caribbean, and you know how they want to take pictures of you all over the place, and then they want you to pay for those pictures. Well, Tara said, let's get our picture taken. We were going to dinner, and I had on that red Hawaiian shirt, and I was wearing it as a goof. I mean, there were a bunch of people on the ship with us, and I was just going to show up in that funky red Hawaiian shirt and, and make everybody laugh. Well, they laughed, but then I also got my picture taken with my wife in that shirt. And it just looked so happy and cheerful, I decided to make that part of my logo. Okay, so this past weekend we had our fourth second Saturday Cars and Coffee here at Gateway Ford, my dealership in Greenville, Tennessee, Gateway Nissan. And it was another success. We've only had one rain out, but every other one has been super duper. And I had hip surgery about I'm going on 26 days, and I have just done super, had no pain, virtually no pain. It's just been wonderful. My pain in my left thigh was fixed until Saturday. And so I was moving these cars around, and you wouldn't believe, I'm 6'3", and you can imagine, well, maybe you can't, how I have to twist around to get into my Model A Ford. It's quite humorous. I have to go in rear end first, drag myself all the way across the seat to the passenger side door in order to get my size 13 feet in the vehicle. Then I have to twist and turn in order to get to where I'm facing forward. Then I have to use my left foot to hit the starter button on the floor, have to kind of twist it in a funny way. Well, all of that gyrating and maneuvering made a muscle in my thigh just say, hold on a minute. And it locked up on me. I thought that my prosthetic had come loose again. It hurt that bad. I could barely walk. Scared me. So just like you would call the guru or send him a text if you had an issue with your car, 423-552-2020, I called my orthopedic surgeon. Well, I really called his physician's assistant, who I happen to have helped raise. And I said, Ryan, my leg's killing me. Here's what happened. And he said, well, it's more than likely, Lenny, it's not your stem and your prosthetic. You've just done too much. Done too much? Yeah, you mean getting in a Model A Ford and turning around is doing too much? He said, yeah, it could be. Use different muscles. So anyway, Tara and I had to jump in the vehicle and take my grandson back to the Cincinnati area. By the time we got up there, it was a little better, but not much. The next morning, much better. And today, I could still feel a twinge, but other than that, I'm good. It's amazing what a muscle relaxer will do to, I guess, relax your muscles. So anyway, Cars and Coffee was great. I had the Model A Ford, Model 34. I drove it to the house and parked it. I was going to drive it in for the big show. Wouldn't start, and it didn't have any jumper cables or my jump box. So I was disappointed in that. But yeah, we got the 66 Mustang Fastback K-Code out, and people just love that car. Oh, and I also drove my car hauler. New, I started saying new. It looks new. My car hauler is finally done, and had it in the show. And people just, we just stand around and drink coffee and eat unhealthy donuts and stuff like that, and just talk cars and life and stuff like that. It's really good, and it's informal, like I say, and it doesn't last all day. It's not like you have to be there for a judged car show event. So that's worked really good for our community. We're doing some other interesting things at our dealership. We do a lot of sponsorship with schools and youth, and we do a lot of speaking engagements, especially to the tech school and to juniors and seniors in high school. Those people, they come out of school and they think they know everything. And, they're seniors or juniors. They're way smarter than their parents, right? Well, they may think that till they get out in the real world, and then they're picking up the phone and calling mom and dad. What do you do about this? What do you do about that? Well, at least when they go to buying cars, they could get a Car Guru guidebook. Maybe get one for Christmas. Maybe put it in their stocking, something like that. They'll say, what's this? So this is something you need to read before you go out and interact with a car dealer or buy a car from an individual. I cover everything in the guidebook. One of the most dangerous places to buy a car is, number one, by yourself. Number two is from an individual that's just run an ad and they want to sell their car. Well, why are they doing that? Why are they selling the car themselves? Well, most people think that they can get more money for their vehicle if they sell it themselves. I mean, that's a possibility. It's usually not a reality, but it is a possibility. A lot of these people are, kind of unregistered, unlicensed car dealers. They flip cars. They're referred to as curb stoners. And they'll go up, buy a wrecked car, buy a flood car, buy something that somebody doesn't want that's junk, and then take it to their house and fix it up, spruce it up, make it look real pretty and shiny, and then they'll put a for sale sign in their front yard, or they'll advertise it online, which you happen to see on maybe Facebook Marketplace, and you go look at that car. It looks good to you, right? You don't see the title. He said he'll mail you the title. You have this transaction take place where you really don't know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you've handed money over, you've got the car, you think you've got it made, then the title shows up in your mailbox, you look at it and it's a reconstructed title, salvage title. Well, he didn't tell you that. So you try to call him and he's not answering your number because he knows what you have discovered, and then you go to his house and he's moved. Or it wasn't his house to begin with. I mean, there are scammers everywhere. My wife's mother, she's 80, I think she's 89 now. And the worst thing that she has that she refuses to get rid of is her home phone. Because these crazies from other countries and different places, these scammers keep calling her and trying to get her upset or concerned anyway, so that she will send them money. And I said, Joanne, you need to lose the phone. Well, I can't hear my cell phone. I don't always have it with me. There's all these different reasons why they won't do it. Now, you can get scammed on a cell phone as well. But you can also see, you probably get a warning. I don't know if Android phones do this, but Apple phones will let you know if it looks like potential spam. And if it says potential spam underneath that number, you don't answer it. And then you block that number. But a lot of our elderly folks, they just don't know how to do that. And they become victims. So, I recommend that you get caller ID if you still have a home phone, a landline. And, you just don't answer it if you don't recognize the number. Now, unfortunately, they've the scammers have figured that out, and they put they capture lines that have the same area code and even have the same prefix as the numbers around you. Like you might, like around in Greenville, it's anything that says 639 or 638. It looks like a local phone, but it's not. But that doesn't say potential spam on it. You answer it, and if you hear a couple clicks or you just hear from some dead time, you say hello, and nobody says anything for a few seconds, hang up, because it's taken a while to make the connection to Bangladesh, so that they can carry on the conversation. So if you've got elderly parents or an uncle or an aunt or a neighbor, for that matter, that is still dealing with this, just warn them. Just, you have to remind them occasionally. When we get older, we tend to forget some things. And, we also want to be really nice to those people on the phone, and they sound so desperate. We just got to send them $1,000. That's all. That'll get them out of jail. And since they are, second cousins twice removed, they need to get out of jail. It's just one thing after another. They tug at the heartstrings. So watch out for that. Okay, I'm going to take my last break. Again, I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, I am back. Came out of Publix the other day, and I looked at my F-150, right beside my F-150. I mean, like right on it. A shopping cart. Oh, I started seething. And so I got over to it, and thank goodness it had hit the running board and not hit the paint. What is it with you people with shopping carts? Don't you understand that people don't like to have dents in their vehicle? It's not something that's attractive, but it's just like no big deal to certain folks. They'll just, they don't want to take about, well, I have to walk halfway across the parking lot to put this cart up. I'm just going to leave it here. And then the wind catches it and blows it right into the fender on your brand new Pontiac Aztek. Well, it would be okay. That would be an improvement if a Pontiac Aztek got a dent. They don't make those anymore. That was a brilliant move, General Motors. One of the ugliest vehicles of all time. But anyway, I wouldn't want it. If it was mine, I bought it new, I wouldn't want a shopping cart ding in it. So I saw it, I looked at it, and like I said, there was no damage. If you get something like that, like if you have multiple dings down the side of your vehicle, don't go to a body shop to get it fixed, because here's what they're going to want to do. Make an appointment. You'll be without your car for a couple days, and they're going to grind the paint off of it. They're going to repair those dents, and then they're going to paint the door, and it's going to cost you $1,000. Okay? Just go to a new car dealer. Come to Gateway Ford if you're around here. Go to any new car dealership where you live. Just go in there and ask to speak. Go into the showroom, ask to speak to the used car manager or one of the new car managers. And once they do come up to you, say, listen, I have a couple door dings in my vehicle I'd like to get taken out. Does your dent doctor come around here very often? What days does he come here? And he'll tell you, he knows exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I think he comes on Tuesdays at about 10 o'clock. Why, do you have a ding you need to get taken care of? Yeah, had a shopping cart incident. And folks, the charge for that will be $100 or less. In many cases, it could be $25 to $30 if it's not real hard for him to do. But they push the dents out from the inside. Now, sometimes you'll get a fist-size dent because something hits a body panel and it just pops it in. Well, many times they'll use a suction cup to pull those right back out, and you won't be able to tell anything, and many times it doesn't even break the paint. Now, if you have a paint issue, let's say you have a bumper, either a front bumper or a rear bumper, or just a lower rocker panel or something that the paint's chipping off of, and it looks bad. Don't go to a body shop. Sorry, body shop owners. Go back to that dealership again and said, hey, when does your paint guy come around, your bumper guy? He'll know exactly what you're talking about, and he'll tell you when the bumper guy comes. And if you are going around a drive-through and you scrub your new beautiful wheels on the concrete, and many people do this because you know why that's happening so much is because of the way wheels and tires are designed now. Everybody wants those low-profile tires, and when you do that, the wheels are bigger, and the wheels will often protrude out further than the tire does, so they're real easy to scrub. Don't go to the body shop and order a new wheel. No, just go to that same dealership that sells your brand of vehicle. Or no, I'll take that back. They don't have to sell your brand of vehicle. Just go to the dealership, ask for that same sales manager. He's going to look at you and say, boy, you sure have a lot of problems with your cars, don't you? But yeah, all you have to say, okay, now I need your wheel guy. When's your wheel guy come? Oh, the wheel guy? He comes on Mondays after 3 o'clock. Okay, I'll be here. He'll fix your wheel, probably $100 to $150. A wheel can cost anywhere from $600 to $1,500. We've got some wheels. We had a Ford GT500, had carbon fiber wheels on it. One wheel on those things was initially just under $20,000. But over time, they were able to bring down the cost of those wheels, and now they're only around $8,000 to $9,000 a piece. Now, your wheel is not going to cost that much, probably $600 to $1,500. But you don't need to do it because the wheel guy, he can grind that scratch off and repaint that wheel for about $100. Pretty good deal. So let's review. You got the paint guy, you got the dent guy, and you got the wheel guy. And all those guys come from the sales department guy at the local dealership. And you could save a lot of money that way and not have to tap into your insurance. You know, many times your insurance deductible is $1,000. It's way more than it would cost to fix it by one of these wonderful guys. And you just found out about it from who? That's right, from the Car Guru. That's why you listen, and that's why you refer it, or refer me, to other people so that they can listen as well. Call me if you need me. Send me a text, 423-552-2020. It's my cell phone, the only one I have. Or send me an email to lennylawson2020@gmail.com and be looking for the Car Guru Guidebook because it's coming.